Welcome back, welcome back. This is part 3. You've made it.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's going to be another part because we definitely want to hear from Iman.
Yes.
To hear what the guy's perspective, what he went through and stuff. But so this time, like this conversation, again, like, comment, subscribe in advance. Drop your comments in advance. If you haven't made it, if you are just stumbling upon this video, this is part 3. So there's 2 other videos ahead of this that shares about Sylvia's journey and her road to recovery. And in this segment here, we're just going to talk about certain things that happened initially afterwards, how you dealt with that, where you are today, and what your goal is with, or what her goal is with her road to recovery. So you've gotten pregnant, you found out the news, you've had the cramps and the bleeding, and now you've been told that you know the baby is no longer there, and you've I guess passed the baby, and now we've gone through you're starting to recover, or not recover, you're starting to go through the healing process. The Hallelujah Challenge you mentioned was very instrumental. Also, being in church was very instrumental for you. So today, in fact, not today, let's start. As now your body's getting back to normal. It's getting back to the way things are when you're not pregnant. So what was that first cycle period? It's so weird. What was that first? I'm sorry. I think you can see it in my face. I was just trying to figure out how am I gonna get there?
That's so funny.
But what was that first? What was that first period like?
Okay, so I'll take it back a bit. So initially, it was very hard for me to even look at myself in the mirror because it's I was no longer pregnant, but I still looked it. So everything that changes with pregnancy, it was still changed. So it took a process a while before my body itself went back to normal. So that was hard because I'm looking at myself like I'm pregnant. Obviously, all the changes that would be there, like your nipples change, all of that stuff, it was still there. So it's that was hard to deal with. But, it's one of those things that it's you just, I don't know, encourage yourself, isn't it? And then they told me that my period would come 4 to 6 weeks after the whole bleeding and the miscarriage and all that stuff. But it came 2 weeks after. And so I wasn't expecting that. And it's when that first came, it was, because although that's why it's called her road to recovery, isn't it? Because although I'm in a much stronger place, it's certain triggers happen when I'm still recovering, but it's more from a place of I'm not broken. Do you know what I mean? So it's when that first cycle came, it was so strange because it was in the same kind of form as when I was losing the baby. So it's it was a trigger almost. Oh, wow. It brought everything back. Yeah. Because it was it took me straight back to that time when I was in the toilet and I wiped and I saw the blood and and so it took me back there. And then obviously it was just ridiculously heavy and clotting and all that stuff. So it was scary almost because it's why is there so much blood? What's happening to my body? Because this has never happened before. So dealing with that, obviously, just have to deal with it. It's hard because it's will my body ever go back to normal? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I hope this is not what I'll have to face, but because obviously they don't give you that much information. Yeah. So you don't know what to expect. So it's okay, so what happens after this? Yeah. What my next cycle will be like? Yeah. So it's it would be nice if they gave more information so you you know what to expect. Okay, so they said it will come 4 to 6 weeks. It came earlier. Are there chances that it can come earlier? What's it going to be like? How long will it take for your body to recover? How long will it take for your body to go back to normal? It would be nice to know all that stuff. So it's not you're second guessing and you're you're just coasting and trying to find out, trying to Google. And Google's it's long. Mate,
Google will tell you got cancer in this headache.
Yeah, literally.
Google will.
Obvious.
Listen. Being a Google doctor is not the way.
It's not the way. So it's I'd rather have concrete information, you know what I mean? Not I'm going on Google and seeing all manners of stuff and Google's telling me that I'm still pregnant or whatever. And another thing I found out, there were different types of miscarriages. Okay. So it's okay, I'm Googling this now and I'm seeing there's different types of miscarriages. So which one does mine fall under? Like, no one's told me any of this. So it's like, you're just trying to find out things, and those itself are triggers, do you know what I mean? So it's like, I'd rather just not Google it, because I don't know, and there's no one to talk to about it. There's no one that I know of. You know, maybe after this I'll research so that maybe I can help someone else if I find out that information.
And if you guys that are watching know of any resources or outlets where they support women who have had miscarriages in early stages or all the way up to past the 20-week mark where it becomes a stillbirth, please drop those resources in the comments as well.
Yeah, because if it can help someone, that would be great. Because, I mean, I saw at least 4 different nurses during the whole ordeal. Like, surely one of them should have had some form of information to give. True. You know, so because that would have been nice to know. You know, if not for me, for somebody else, because I might not have used it, but I could have referred back to it if someone else was going through that. Do you know what I mean? So or maybe I would have referred back to it. Maybe I would have called and been like, "Oh, this is what I experienced. What kind of type is this? What do I need to know? Okay, this is the bleeding that I'm experiencing at the moment. What does that mean?" You know, because even when I was bleeding, they didn't really tell me what. Well, even when I was going for the scans, they didn't really tell me why I was bleeding or what that meant or. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, okay, come back in 2 weeks. But what I was told is that they say come back in 2 weeks because by that time you would have passed the baby, and so when you have the scan, they can just basically tell you that the baby's gone. Basically, that's what I was told. Yeah, by someone that had gone through that. So it's like, that's wild.
That's rude.
That's wild.
They're like, sort it out by yourself so that we can tell you that you sorted
it out. Literally. Wow. Basically, that's wild.
Sensitivity training.
Basically. It's like if you're in that field where you're in the early pregnancy unit, you're a radiographer for early pregnancy, you're even just a nurse in A&E, and you could come up, or doctor, and you come against any situation. When it comes to certain things, you need to have extra sensitivity, because how you handle it will determine how someone else takes it. You know what I mean? Like, if you're dealing with that, how is that person meant to feel? It's like you're dealing with like I'm a non-entity, basically. It's just like, oh, it's just that it's not that serious. You're not bleeding. No, you're not. You haven't had a car accident. You're not dying. So deal with it.
Wow.
Women's health. Sorry, I think women's health. Sorry to go there. I don't think it's taken very seriously, especially when it comes to like pregnancy or contraception. Because I was, I told you about. I was gonna say this before. So I was in A&E before the whole pregnancy stuff because I wanted to get my coil removed because I was having bare side effects. And they tell you, all the GPs tell you that with the copper coil, there's no side effects. Yeah. So you feel like you're running mad. That's you're going mad.
True. Yeah,
you feel like
you're running mad.
You feel like you're going mad because it's like, I'm experiencing these things. You are telling me that this is normal. There's no side effect from this copper coil. If you go on Google, there's Facebook groups for people that have gone through mad stuff from the copper coil. And when I realised I was normal was when I saw that they were going through the same thing. So I knew that it wasn't just me, it was the coil. Yeah. So to get it removed, I now went to A&E and I was in pain at this time. And it's like, I felt like it was like stabbing me almost. I went to A&E, obviously had to wait there for hours. And it's like, I speak to the doctor, he's looking at me like I'm just chatting rubbish, asking me nonsense questions. Then they tell me they're going to refer me to a scan. They don't actually refer me, so I have to call up for them to now refer me. So I now get referred for a scan. They tell me it's in place. Okay, so what next? How do I get this thing out? Because it's in place, but it's doing all these things to me. Yeah. I couldn't get a straight answer. I now had to go and find a sexual health clinic that had the tools to do it and take it out. So it's like, I told the doctor, just because I'm not crippling in pain, when I'm in pain, I don't start screaming and stuff. Yeah. I'm very quiet when I'm in pain. So it's like, I'm feeling this pain, but because I'm not screaming, I'm not making a display, you guys are acting like it's nothing. Yeah. So it's like they expect to see a certain form of pain. They even ask you on a scale of 1 to 10, how much is your pain? I don't know how to answer that question. I don't know how to answer it.
Yeah, because same like me, like when I'm in pain, if I'm talking about the pain, that means it's really bad. Because most times I'll just firm it, like mine's from South West London again. Like I'm just gonna deal with it. Like so again, like you. When they ask me like what the scale is, I'm like, I don't actually know. Yeah, so I just pluck a random number from my head because like I don't know how to tell you I'm measuring pain. I'm in a lot of pain. Yeah. If I say 10 and I look like this, you think I'm chatting rubbish because I'm not screaming or whatever. But it's like I'm in pain. Sometimes I feel like I need to go to A&E and fainting and throwing up my hands before they know that
I'm being serious.
I think one of my friends was telling me that if you want to get seen, just start. They told me exactly the same things that you need to say.
Really?
So that they'll treat you like.
No way.
Yeah, because like you said, sometimes they won't do anything.
Don't.
But this is where I'll say this, and hopefully you have this. Mm-hmm. Private healthcare is such a breeze.
I don't have private healthcare because I checked. Yeah, they don't do like maternity stuff because I wanted to get private healthcare, and then I saw that they don't deal with anything to do with maternity. So I was like, what's the point? Oh. No, I mean for that specific because I wanted to just join before I even got pregnant. I wanted to get private healthcare, but I wanted to make sure that it had maternity. Yeah, when I found out I didn't, I was like, so that's a bit pointless. So it's like
none of them do.
Not that I saw. If you know any, please tell me. Because the ones that I saw, I searched. I didn't find any. It's like, what's up with women's health? It's like, does no one take women's health seriously? Seriously, when it comes to pregnancy, contraception, it's like, do none of you guys take women's health seriously? Do we have to, I don't know, create our own ones, whatever, before it can now be a thing? How can they not cover anything maternity-wise? Like, I just don't understand. But if I'm wrong, I'm sorry, but please tell me, put me in the right direction.
No, I can imagine that you're
it's
correct.
Wild.
Yeah.
It's wild. It's like, what are we meant to do?
Yeah. Okay, so we've got from your first cycle, how that impacted you. Mm-hmm. Today, what is your view of yourself?
Oh, that's not one. It's my view of myself, gosh. I feel like I'm stronger than I thought I was. Because if you had told me, like, I would have gone through this and today and been how I am, I probably wouldn't have believed it. So, but I think that definitely has a lot to do with my faith and just, praising and worshipping God. Because usually in tough situations, that's the last thing on my mind. Sometimes I don't even feel to pray. Do you know what I mean? So that's the last thing on my mind. But being in a position where there was, I stumbled upon the Hallelujah Challenge last year actually. I kept coming up on my TV. And obviously God knew it was for a day like today, isn't it? Or that February. It kept coming on TV and I was like, yeah, I'll watch it. And I just didn't. But then I did one day and I loved it. So it was like, so having the program where it kind of forced me to praise and worship, that had a major impact on my strength, on my recovery. So I feel like, that definitely strengthened my faith. It strengthened just how I see God, really. Because it's like, it's very tempting to see God in this situation as a villain. It's like, why would you allow this to happen to me? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, why would you not have given me what I wanted? But I'd actually had a dream before I was even pregnant, but I didn't understand what it meant. And in the dream, like, it was a form of God. I didn't see God, obviously, but it was a voice that said to me in the dream, like, God will always give you what you need, not what you want. I didn't understand it at the time, but it came back to me throughout this whole period of time. And I was like, oh, it's true, because obviously at the time I wanted a baby, but that doesn't mean that that's what God wanted for me at that time or what I needed at that time. Maybe I couldn't have even handled it at that time. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. There's so many reasons that it could have happened. Obviously, I'm not God, so I don't know. Yeah. But all I know is that I trust in God and I know that God's plan for me is the best plan. So I'm just going to hold on to that faith and know that if it's meant to be, then it will be again. And if it's not, it's because God knows what I can handle. Do you know what I mean? Or God's plan is just, what does it say in the Bible? My ways are big.
My ways are not yours.
Yeah, that's it. So my thoughts are not your thoughts. Yeah. So, so it's definitely, and even just being able to be in a place where I can speak to others about it and because I'm always in a place of thinking about other people. So it's like, okay, how will my situation glorify God? How will my situation encourage other people who might not even go through this situation, but just hearing how praise and worship alone, you know what I mean? Not alone, but as in can have such an impact in your life. Yeah. It might encourage somebody who watches this, who's going through something completely different and just tries to, praise and worship God and see the turnaround in their situation. Yeah. So it's been enlightening. It's been encouraging in the sense of, I won't use the word encouraging, but just in terms of me and my husband, it's like bringing us close together because it's like we've gone through this thing and it could have turned out so many different ways for both of us in our relationship, but it's brought us close together. We've learned how to work together a lot more and, you know, take each other's feelings into account a lot more. I think that's been, it's been great on that side. Yeah.
So, I don't know whether I should save this question for when the man joins us. Yeah, I'll save it for when the man joins us. But do you? And some of this question I'm about to ask, I've seen and heard different women say this. Not necessarily people that I know, but like when you're watching certain documentaries or sometimes even in film where you know women go through that, their character goes through that in film and then they start expressing themselves. And I hope this is, well, it depends on how I ask the question, but I'll just ask the question. Do you still see yourself as like a mother? Because I know there's times where women question themselves as like, my body's supposed to do this. This is what I'm supposed to do. Like, why weren't I able? And you start to question your femininity and your female anatomy. So I know you mentioned that you questioned God, but did you ever question yourself?
I did at one point, because I remember looking at myself in the mirror thinking like, my body failed me. Like, why? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, my body failed me. Like, it was meant to carry this baby and nurture this baby, and it failed. You know, that's how I felt at the time.
And today?
Today, no, I don't feel like that. I feel like my baby, like the cells of my baby, like I saw on TikTok, are still there. So it's like I still have this baby as part of me. So it's like I was telling my husband the other day, like we're parents of 4, even though we have 3 children, we are parents of 4. Although the baby didn't fully grow and form and all of that stuff, I was still pregnant. You know, the scan showed that I was still pregnant. I was still pregnant, but I was pregnant. So it's like we are parents of 4, but we have 3 children. But it's like I have. So when did I tell you about returning the clothes?
Yeah, you did.
But I don't think I said it on camera.
You did.
Oh, I did. Okay, yeah. So when I went, I did actually. So when I went to return the clothes, I didn't realize that there was one that I forgot. So yes, but then I'd already taken the
tag off.
Yeah, and I was like, I can't even return this now. But then I thought, I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it as a memorabilia is the right word, of my baby. So it's like, I have that. Just that's part of my baby, because he would have worn that. No, whatever, he or she would have worn that.
Can I just say that I'm in awe, and obviously there were some parts of this that was a bit, trying to say certain things was a little bit, because you just don't know. You go through the thing, especially as a man, like, am I allowed to say this? I'm an external man, but to watch you and even still kind of see you smiling, and I'm pretty sure you guys will see this on video, like, as she's talking, there's a continuous, like, you'll tell the story, but you still got like a light, and we're not talking about the lights that are in this room, but there's something, there's still that, like, joy, like you haven't lost yourself, and I've been fortunate to, we serve on the same team at church, and like there's times when you're not on stage, and I'm singing, and whether I'm leading or VBing, and I just watch you like worship, like I'm like, you haven't changed, you know what I mean, despite what you've gone through, and I think it's the strength of a woman it's not discussed enough, and most times it's only discussed when somebody's a victim, and it's unfortunate, but to recognize that your body can do what it can do, you can go through what you can go through, and for you to kind of battle the mental anguish that could have taken you down, and still be in a, like, guys, this happened in February, right?
Yeah.
It is, today is March 11th. This is what, like, I'm not sure when this is going to be on the channel, but today that we're filming is March 11th. This happened in February. So this is the strength I'm talking about.
Yeah, and when I say that, it can only be God, seriously, because I could see myself going down like some next path at one point. because it's like I didn't want to do anything. I mean, obviously, like when I was around my kids, I was mum, but when like they'd gone to bed or whatever, and sleep, like I just didn't want to do anything. I would just scroll through TikTok. That was it.
I know you say it's got to be God, and I 100% agree with that. But there's always a part that we play in deciding to not let ourselves fall.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because this situation that we're speaking about is a miscarriage. But there's a lot of people that will be watching this that identify with the Christian faith, who have gone through things that should have brought them down, or might be going through things and they're trying to fight and be strong. And this might be the thing that encourages you to continue fighting and find new ways to fight and new weapons to fight. But like it's such a like, and then you have the non-Christians. Like I know there are non-Christians who also are going through stuff that you guys may not identify with the spiritual side on the Christian side of what we've spoken about, but you can identify with the fact that she's had a miscarriage. She's fought the fight to keep her mind intact. And I'm sure the healing isn't complete and it's still going to be ongoing.
Still, 100%.
It's ongoing.
So I feel like you might think that, because I'm strong and stuff, that she's completely fine. And I think that's what the I don't know what word to use is, but it's a was it a belly?
We're keeping that in.
You just ate, bruh.
I just ate. I think it's the food is moving. That's all that is. Shout out to a healthy digestive system. Amen. Praise God. Praise God.
Okay, yeah, sorry. Yeah, so but it's an ongoing process because I know that people probably see me and think like I am back to normal. I'd say that, but there will be certain triggers. You know what I mean? Like, and some, it's like before there were days where it's like some days were really hard and some days were great. Most days are great now. Yeah. Because it's like, especially after seeing that thing, like when I heard that my baby was still part of me, that was very encouraging.
Oh, that's good.
That was very encouraging because
so you didn't lose.
Yeah, it's like I might not ever. Well, I won't ever, on this earth meet this child, but somewhere inside here, the child is still there. So that fills me with joy. It's like I haven't completely lost this child. So that definitely makes me feel amazing. So I know people grieve differently, and obviously, like mine was in the very early stages. So I can't even imagine what it would have been for someone that was 6 months down the line or gave birth to the child and and it was stillborn. Do you know what I mean? So I know that with each stage, the further along you get, the harder it is to recover from. And like you said, not everyone will be a believer or something like that. But one thing that you mentioned is that women, we're very strong. And there'll be times when you don't want to be strong, you want to be weak. And allow yourself to be weak when you need to be weak, but just don't stay in it. Because there's strength inside of you, and there's even strength in you trying to find your strength. Do you know what I mean? So
I like that.
Yeah,
there is strength in trying to find your strength.
100%.
Catch
No, 100%. Because sometimes we try to recover too quickly, and I remember you telling me I think you sent me a voice and you're like, don't try to just come out of this and just feel like you're okay and just bounce back. Like, go through your process. Go through whatever process you need to. And it's true, you need to go through that process because you're not a machine. You will feel the loss of that child or the loss of your whoever it is or whatever it is that you've lost or whatever it is they're trying to get. You will feel it. And it's fine to go through that grieving process, but don't stay in it. As soon as you feel like, okay, I can come out of it. And it's a process. You might feel like a bit strong today and a bit weak tomorrow. You might feel strong. It's a process, but just don't remain in it. Just find your strength wherever and however you can, and let people around you be around you. You might, or just let them in. If they want to come in and you feel like I'm not ready, then tell them, and that's fine. But tell them how you want them to be there for you. If you don't want them to be all up in your business, tell them, okay, I might see you next week. I'll see how it feels. Do you know what I mean? I might see you. We'll see how it feels. And if you don't, then that's fine. But it's just don't stay in it, because if you stay in it, it's gonna be so hard to get out. It's gonna be so hard to climb out.
So, I know we're gonna wrap up this section with us, and we'll bring Iman in, and that In terms of what is it that you want people to get from her road to recovery, and then how can people follow her road to recovery?
So what I want people to get out of this is just know that you're not alone, because people don't like to talk about these things. It's like a taboo. You know, like, I'm sure if I told like the older generation that I was doing a video about this, they'll be like, "Oh, should you? Why?" You know. But it's not a taboo. I'm not ashamed of the fact that this happened to me. I'm not ashamed at all. It happened to me, and I'm happy to speak about it because it could encourage somebody else. You know, whether Christian, non-Christian, whatever, it could encourage somebody else because they can see me and know that it is possible to come out of this. And there are other people that I know of that have had stillbirths, that have had, you know, miscarriages later down the line, and have been able to bounce back. I won't say bounce back, I don't like that term, but have been able to come out of that, what would I call it? That low state, because because it is a low state that you're in usually when you've lost a child. People have been able to come out of it, you know. So it's like, I've lost my train of thought. What was I saying?
No, you were talking about people coming out of it.
No, what was I saying before that?
The question was, what do you?
Okay, what do you want? Cut. Yeah. Okay, start again. Yeah. So, what do I want people to get out of it? Just so they're not alone, you know.
Don't feel shame, you also.
Yeah, don't feel ashamed. Like, because I said if I was to tell the older generation that I was doing a video on miscarriage and that I experienced one, they'll be like, "Well, why would you do that? Why would you tell everyone?" I'm not ashamed of the fact that this happened to me. I don't feel any shame whatsoever. It's happened to me. It's a lived experience, and it's to help enlighten people of the fact that this happens to women. You know, how do we help you? How can the NHS do better? How can people around you help you? You know, what can I do to help myself get out of this low mood and low state that I'm in? You know, it's like miscarriage is like a taboo word almost. It's like if you say,
know how I was struggling.
Yeah, it's like people can't even say the word. So it's like, you know, like I gave the example of when I went to return the clothes and the lady didn't know what to say. It's like to normalize it. This happens to women. People need to know what to say when they hear that this has happened. You know, so that we don't feel like it's a shameful thing. It's not a shameful thing. If you had a miscarriage, it's not a shameful thing. You know, so it's to normalize it. To let people know that it's okay. You went through this. How can we help? What can we do to help you moving forward? Not how can we hide it? How can we pretend it doesn't exist? How can we just brush you off and, you know, with no advice, no guidance, and leave you to your own devices and let you get over it in your own time? You know, the NHS needs to do more because my experience was awful. It wasn't great at all. I needed more than I got. And I think going forward, if this can help the NHS to get better and to move in the right direction, then that would be great. And I say the NHS, it might not be fair to say that, to be honest. I don't say the NHS, but just the hospitals that I went to visit. Yeah. Because might not, some NHS trusts might be great. So let me not say the NHS to take back. But just the hospitals that I visited. And just in general hospitals.
Shout out to the NHS. Those of you. And then where can people follow your journey?
Yeah, so I have my Instagram, Her Road to Recovery, my YouTube channel, So This Is Sylvia, but then you can just type in Her Road to Recovery and it will come up. That's about it. I don't do the other ones. Yeah. I'm new school now. Hey! I'm on TikTok, Her Road to Recovery.
Her Road to Recovery. Well, this has been a great conversation.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you know, I'll be honest, I'm probably going to feel a lot more comfortable when Iman's in here. Just because it's male energy. But I think it was encouraging for me, you know, and hopefully, you know, you guys are watching. Hopefully I asked the right questions. Hopefully, you know, I was able to dig deeper.
I feel like I've got everything out.
That's good.
You know, I feel like I've got everything out. And if my family's watching this, I appreciate you guys. Like, you guys are really there for me. So shout out to all of you guys. Hey uncle, hey auntie. Yeah, like my in-laws, my sisters, like everyone, because everyone gave me my space. Because my sister-in-law, Marianne, she was coming. She had travelled at the time. Yeah. But she was video calling me. I didn't answer because I wasn't ready to speak. But she messaged me, and her husband Dean messaged me. You know, like, we're here for you whenever you want to talk. You know, you know, my younger brother-in-law, Ehi, Dave, Efe, Busi, Juri, Olumide, Mum, Dad, all of you, Mum and Dad-in-law, like all of you, like shout out to all of you because you guys were really there for me in your different ways. Although like I didn't want to speak to any of you guys at the time, like just your messages, your prayers, all of that stuff. Like I appreciate and love all of you guys. I'm so grateful to all of you guys. My brother-in-law Sibat, like yeah, I appreciate all of you guys because he messaged me, messaged my husband. I'm grateful. Thank you all.
All right, you guys already know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, and make sure you follow Her Road to Recovery on Instagram, on TikTok, and on YouTube. Yes. And in part 4, we're going to hear from the Mister, my brother, Emmanuel.
Yes. Thank you.
All right, y'all can go now.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
All right. Go ahead, X out the video. Set a reminder to come back, though.
Yeah, please. Come back.
All right. Bye.
Oh, that was great.